We have roughly 200. This is why I was most excited. That's crazy, y'all. So this is gonna be a huge boost to my PS1 collection. I'm like backed up on the couch right now. Look at all of the N64 goodness. What is up, Internet? Retro here, and welcome back to part 3 of the insane video game find of a lifetime. If you missed the last 2 episodes, me and my buddy Chuck bought these storage units that are filled with video games. Basically, this video game store closed down during the pandemic. They had 2 storage units, and we bought all of the video game stuff out of them for $2,400. And here we are into part 3. I have finally unearthed all of these treasures, and it is time to go through them and show you all of the good stuff that we got. So before we get into it, the only update is I'm about to head out to Retro Palooza. It is happening next week, so this is Monday. I'm always filming these a little bit in advance, so I never know when you're gonna see them, but technically you should be seeing this just before I go. I'm going as a guest speaker. I'm gonna be hanging out with my guy, Mr. Rightway. We got a panel talking about game hunting. It is gonna be a blast. I'm gonna have a booth there as well, where I'm gonna be selling all types of stuff, so please come out and see me if you're gonna be out there in Texas. It's in the Arlington, Dallas area, and if you are around, I would love to meet you. It's amazing. I went, not last year obviously, but the year before, and had so much fun, so pumped to go to that. But now let's get into part 3. Again, if you've missed the last 2, make sure to go check those out, but let's get into all of these amazing finds. Alright, so the first thing we're going to take a look at are these strategy guides. Good grief, y'all. I counted 175, and there are even more in my car. I'm going to say roughly 200 guidebooks. There are some in there that are like doubled up. You got Tony Hawk over there. But there are a lot of really good ones in here. I'm going to jump into all of those, but before we do that, I wanted to show you 3 of my personal strategy guides. These are ones that I've had since I was a kid, and I love them. Guys, guidebooks were everything back in the day. There was no internet. There was no walkthroughs. YouTube videos for us kids, we had to use guidebooks. So if you've never seen a guidebook, this is what you're looking at. You got tips and tricks on how to get through different levels, and you know, just all the info, man. Definitely needed this one for the water temple. So you got Ocarina of Time, Super Mario 64. Guys, look at this. This thing is wore out, and I use this one. I actually used to just read this one. Like, I would literally read my strategy guides because I loved them that much. If I wasn't playing Mario 64, I was reading about Mario 64.
We will not live in a 2-dimensional world.
We won't go in one direction or seek where we can zap.
And then this one right here, you guys know, I've talked about this before. Earthbound is my favorite game of all time, and this thing could not be any more used. It even has the scratch and sniff cards someplace in here. Yeah, right here. And it is already ripped out and really rough, but I love it. So I actually get this question a lot. Some of my like personal collection items are like really rough. If people are like, man, you need to upgrade. You need to upgrade some of your stuff. I'm like, no, I don't. I'm weird about some things. Most of the time, I want things to look like really good and like a clean label. But some of like the stuff that I've had since I was a kid, I'm like, no, I love that this is all messed up. It reminds me of my childhood, going through this, and I definitely needed this guidebook as well as a kid. Let me know down below, what was either your favorite guidebook that you had as a kid, or one that you used the most. These were definitely my 3 right here. So in terms of all of these guidebooks, we have roughly 200, and I'm going to give them a value of about $2 each. Some are in here are worth way more than that. I think I found a couple that were worth like 15 to 20 bucks, but then there's also some in here that are probably worth maybe $1. So say $2 each. You got about $400 just in value in strategy guides. So some of the more notable ones are these over here. You got Street Fighter and Tekken. I mean, this is a beefy one. I mean, this thing has to be like, how many pages is this? 300 pages plus? Oh yeah, we're already at 300, 400 pages. That's crazy. You got Dragon Ball Z, SSX3, y'all. I love this game so much. I don't know how many of these I'm going to keep for myself, but I definitely will keep a couple of these. You got the King of Fighters, X-Men Mutant Academy. I don't know, man. I may keep some of these. Ready to Rumble Boxing. Guys, I played the crap out of this game on the Dreamcast. So that's cool. You got some Star Wars, Lego, Iron Man, and a bunch more. So I'm going to bring these to Retropalooza here in just a couple weeks and put these out for probably $2 each and let people just go wild and buy these up, because I don't need all of these. I might keep 5 to 10, but I don't need, you know, what is this? Zombies Revenge. It looks cool, you know, but realistically, do I need to keep that and collect that? No, I really don't, but a lot of great ones. I may keep some of the Tony Hawk ones. Virtual Fighter looks kind of cool, but I don't know. $2 each. I might even do like 6 for 10 and just let these things fly, because they do take up quite a bit of room. So yeah, that is all of the strategy guides that we got in the lot. Next up is that huge box of games that Chuck put together of mostly common stuff. There's a couple things in here that are notable that we'll talk about, but in general, this is mostly common stuff. So these games, let's go over here to N64 first. We have all of these Wily Country Clubs. Now, I'm a golfer, so I may be a little biased, but I actually really love this game. I played this a ton back in the day.
Uh-oh, he really dumped that shot. It didn't quite reach the green.
And another side note, the back of these are pretty clean, and what I've done a lot of times on some of my like nicer games is you just take off the back of these and you throw that onto a good game. So these are worth about $4, I believe, and we have all of the Maddens. That is Madden 99, and then these are all Madden 64s, and same thing. A lot of these have pretty clean backs, so you could easily take those off and put them on a different game. So these are all worth like maybe $1 or $2. And then some of these Maddens over here, the newer ones, really the only one notable is Madden 2002. I think this one's selling for like $7 or $8. So I'm not going to try to do a whole grand total of everything that we got in the storage unit, mainly because, again, we haven't been through everything yet, but I kind of can't help myself. I will give you kind of an idea of what we're looking at. So the next game I want to talk about is Ken Griffey Baseball, another game that I played a ton back in the day. I think this is worth like $6 or $7. And then all of the wrestling games. You guys tell me down below. I don't even know how many wrestling games are on the N64. There's quite a few. Nitro is actually worth a decent amount. A lot of these have went up in value. Nitro is worth about $12, so, you know, common, but still good to have. And then this one, WCW World Tour, I think this is like an $8 game. And to have this, what, 22 times, that's a ton of freaking money, dude. That's like $175 or so. Got Revenge. Revenge is kind of the same. I think it's worth like $6 or $7. And then you got Mayhem. That's actually the least valuable wrestling game, I believe, on the N64. Warzone, I think, is also like a $5 game. So tons of wrestling games in this lot. And then you got Wayne Gretzky, 3D Hockey. I think there's 2 Wayne Gretzky games on the N64, and I love that game as well. A bunch of Madden, not Madden, NFL quarterback clubs. Those have virtually no value. I think, you know, you list those for $1, and hopefully you can sell them. And then you got Courtside.
Kobe Bryant and NBA Courtside. All the moves, all the action, all the NBA you can jam in a game.
NBA Courtside with Kobe Bryant. Whenever he passed, guys, it's crazy. Like, people are wild. I think this game with Courtside 2 was selling for like $50 on eBay when he passed. Like, what is wrong with people? Golly, man, people are wild. Now, it's like a $5 game. Going over here to all of the NES games, most NES games start out at about $5. Like, that's just where they're at nowadays. I think Star Voyager is about a $5 game. I think Pinbot's more like $7 or $8. Super Spike, probably around $5 or $6. So, you know, not a ton of value there, but $5 here and there adds up pretty quick. 2 games that I did not have in my collection is, this is Little League Baseball. I used to have this game, but I don't know where it went. This is actually a really fun NES game, really cartoony type graphics, but that's a good one. I think that's worth like $12. And then RBI Baseball 3, I surprisingly did not have. So I get to add 2, you know, common games to the collection. So I wasn't really expecting much out of this box, but here we are. We got a ton of baseball simulators and then all of those common games. So nothing really there to talk about other than if you ever find Cliffhanger on the NES, I think it was a late release, it's worth like 80 or $100, so be on the lookout for that. This one does not have that much value. And then another great Ken Griffey Jr. game. This is definitely not stuff to really talk about, stuff that's worth like $1. A couple Red Deads in there. I don't have Game of the Year edition in my personal collection, so I'll add that. And then Left 4 Dead 2, you guys know that this one is a really good one to trade in to GameStop. This one trades in for like 11 or $12. So I think grand total I estimated in all of this common stuff is still like $700. I mean, you have all those wrestling games, you know, you're talking right there, that's like $250 to $300 in just those wrestling games. And then you start adding up $5 here and there, it adds up really quick. So I get to add, I think, 3 to the collection, and I'm going to bring those again to Retropalooza and just sell them off cheap and get some money back. I want to get through this next group of games pretty quick because I want to get to the good stuff. And guys, the good stuff is coming, but we got to go through some of this common stuff as well. I'm glad that I got all of these common games because these are perfect to start a flea market booth. I've been talking about it forever, and I think now is the time. You know, you put these at the front of the booth. Games are spilling out of your booth. It draws people into it. So these are good ones to definitely have. This first box is just a bunch of Dreamcast stuff.
Sega Dreamcast. It's thinking.
You got Blitz, which is good, but it's in this like generic case. Max Steel. You got Dave Mirra, Centipede, Incoming. I don't know what some of these games are, but then a lot of these are just like NFL 2K, NBA 2K, which, by the way, guys, you don't have to have a game be expensive for it to be fun. Like NFL 2K, amazing game. So a bunch of Dreamcast stuff. These are all very generic, common Genesis games. Like $1 each. You throw those into a tub for $1 each and let those go. And then we got a bag of GBA games. Have not went through those yet. Here are, same thing with this, PSP games. Guys, PSP games have went up in value for sure. You got Warriors, Lost Empire, Dissidia, Final Fantasy. So some decent stuff in here. Here's a SmackDown game, Ape Escape Academy. So some decent stuff in there. And then we have some Game Boy Color games. Magical Racing Tour, that was fun on the Dreamcast. Rocket Power, a bunch of nostalgic stuff here, guys. Powerpuff Girls. This is actually one that I saw earlier that I was a little bit interested in. Looney Tunes Alert with Marvin the Martian. Looks cool. And then a bunch of very common Game Gear games. I don't actually have this. Sonic Triple Trouble. Cool to add that to the collection. And then if you ever see a Game Gear game, most of the time it's Sonic 2. There are millions of these floating around. And then some just kind of decent, I don't know, filler to uncommon, probably more common Xbox OG games. So there is that lot of games. Now, let's get into the good stuff. Now we are getting into disc-based games, mostly PS1 games. There's a couple Saturn and Sega CD games mixed in, but yeah, there is some good stuff here. Most of this stuff down here are like $5 to $10 games, so those are all down there. Let's start up in this top corner. These are all loose and about $10 each. You got Space Jam, Tomb Raider 3, no, Tomb Raider The Last Revelations, Twisted Metal, a bunch of Crash games. So these are all good games, loose unfortunately, but there's still value here, and I would still add some of these to my collection. You got Crash Bash, again, Magical Racing Tour, we just saw that on, was it Game Boy Color, another Twisted Metal 3, amazing games all through here, Contra, Legacy of War, and then through here, we have games that are around 20 and up. Surprisingly, this Aladdin game is worth like, if it's complete, it's like $30-35. I think like this, it's like 20. Point Blank, kind of same story there. And I think Sin and Punishment, didn't realize this is like a $20 game. So some decent games all through here. The Evil Zones, I think, are worth like $25. These Digimon games are actually worth like $35 or $40 loose. So hopefully we will find some more of these cases. Guys, again, this is only 2 or 3 boxes in, and there's manuals and like these everywhere. Like, you know, there's no manual to this, but we have found the game and the back cover art. Got Jurassic Park for the Sega CD, Crash. These are all complete. You got Rampage, Spyro, Crash, a bunch over there. And then these are some of the complete games that are more notable. This isn't notable because it's worth anything. It's just, I love this movie back in the day.
Commandos to this.
I didn't even know there was a Small Soldiers PS1 game. So cool to get that and add it to the collection. Got both of the Wing Commanders, or at least Wing Commander 3 and 4. This Quicks, I don't know how you say that. I don't think it's worth a ton. It's like $20. Same thing with this. And then over here are the good games. I had no idea that Sonic Adventure is like $35-40 complete now. That's crazy, y'all. Love this game. I remember when I first saw this on the Dreamcast when I went to Babbage's and was blown away by the graphics. Cannot believe that this is worth $40 now. Really good shape. We got both of the Spider-Mans on PS1. Spider-Man 1 and 2 Black Label. I think these are like going for like 30 to 40 each. You guys, we already talked about this one in the last episode. Children of the Atom, probably one of the better games in the whole lot in terms of disc-based games. Got Digimon World. This one sells pretty well. I think like 40. Same thing with this Gundam game. Guys, we are getting some good games. My PS1 collection is very light, so this is going to be a huge boost to my PS1 collection. You got Saga Frontier 2, and then this one, unfortunately, we have not found it yet. I think I mentioned it in the last episode. This Pink Panther game has some major value, so right now we are very far away from having it complete, but at least we have the back cover art. I think that's like a $200+ game, something like that. And then all of these are like... Oh, these are all cases with manuals that I haven't found discs yet. So, Harvest Moon, Sonic Shuffle. I actually played this a lot back in the day too. Basically like a Mario Party, but with all of the Sega characters. Omega Boost. These are all like $30 to $50 games if I can find the discs. Fear Effect. I think there's some all over here too. So yeah, definitely a great lot of disc-based games, and who knows what else we're going to find. But now let's jump over to cartridge-based games. Let's jump into Sega Genesis and just a couple Super Nintendo boxes. I actually have quite a few more Super Nintendo boxes someplace. I don't know where they are at this point, but I'm sure that they will come up at some point. So this is why I was most excited about this storage unit. So I have tons of NES, Super Nintendo, Genesis, and N64 games that I don't have complete. Like, I have them loose because, like every kid back in the day, you got the game, you know, at Christmas, your birthday, you open it up, and then you threw away the box, and you didn't keep the box. Even though Genesis games actually did last a lot longer because they're like plastic rather than being a cardboard. I was able to complete so many of my Genesis and N64 games because of this storage unit. So I've told you guys this in the last episode too. You take Super Smash Bros, you know, by itself, it is a $40 game. You add the box in the manual, it jumps to like $200, $250. Like that's how collectible and how expensive they get if they are complete. So getting this storage unit was like everything to me. Some of these games were complete. Like, we found the game and we found the manual, you know, in the case, but a lot of them also I was just able to add, you know, my loose quack shot to this, and now it's complete. So let's get into some of these. Spider-Man and X-Men, Double Dragon, that one's amazing. I cannot believe Sonic 3 at this point is like $40 complete. That is wild to me. You got Bubsy 2, Uncharted, General Chaos was one of the games I used to play all the time back in the day. Zombies Ate My Neighbor, guys, one of my favorite games from back in the day. A couple Super Nintendo games, Vector Man. Now, Cool Spot. This is one of those games that was a weekly rental for me and my sisters back in the day. Back whenever you could have a soda pop and make a video game out of it. And it was actually a pretty decent game. So,
carnage, mayhem, despair, anarchy. The Cool Spots have been kidnapped, and only one Spot is left to save his cohorts. He'll need your help. Make no mistake, you'll encounter crabs-wearing underwear, demented cheese-slinging pajama mice, teeth with no head. But remember, that little Cool Spot is out there somewhere.
and then over here, I was able to complete my Quack Shot, the original Streets of Rage Rocket Knight Adventures. This one was complete. Got the manual and everything here, and a great game. If you guys have never played Rocket Knight Adventures, a great platformer. Double Dragon Shadow, the Shadow Falls. Here's Toxic Crusaders. Now this one is not in here. I didn't even know that there was a Toxic Crusaders game. I had some of the figures back in the day, but I had no idea that there was a game. All of the Master System games that were in the storage unit were actually complete. Like, they were all in there. I think there was like 10 to 15 Master System games, and Chuck took most of those, and I grabbed Paperboy and Double Dragon. So this is one that people make fun of me all the time. Guys, I actually love Bubsy.
Bubsy, now available on Sega Mega Drive. What could possibly go wrong? Ouch.
This is one of those games that I just played all the time. I don't know if it was just because it was the only game I had for a season, but I just kept playing Bubsy. You know, really simple platformer, extremely annoying music. It's like the same music, I think, on every level, but I had the game, did not have the box, especially this being cardboard. That definitely got trashed when I was a kid, I'm sure. Sonic and Knuckles, so glad to finally get this. I almost bought this at a game store at one point, glad I didn't. Streets of Rage is now complete. I'm on the hunt for Gunstar Heroes manual. I don't have the manual for this, but I have the game and the box now. Hyperstone Heist, easily in my top 5 favorite games in my childhood. Love this game. I actually prefer this over Turtles in Time. I know, blasphemy, but I really do. I love that game. Here is Double Dragon, The Shadow Falls. Apparently this was $1 at a yard sale or something at some point. And then this game right here, we got the manual, we got the case. At least I think it's got the manual. Yes, we got the manual. If we can get this game or find this game within one of the other boxes, that's like $150. So that is all of, at least I think that is all of the Genesis stuff. Let's move to N64 now. And this, guys, is what I was most excited about. I can't even get like a full shot. I'm like backed up on the couch right now. Look at all of the N64 goodness. A lot of these have manuals, most of which have manuals. And I have the entire N64 collection here. Let me get over here. Maybe that'll... There we go. That's better. This is insane. I'm just going to let you know right off the bat. I think I had like 22 N64 games complete. And with this lot, I'm going to add 157 different boxes to my collection. That is wild. Never in my wildest dreams, did I think this could happen. Like, this is nuts. So these were kind of in order, and then I just was like, whatever, I'm gonna forget about it and just start stacking them up. So you got everything from like your generic, NASCAR games to Blitz, great game, to some of the better stuff. You got Battle Tanks, Hexen, and then these are all in alphabetical order. You got 1080, great game. Classic on the N64. Cruising USA, Cruising World. I actually have like doubles, triples of some of these games that are just put over here in different areas because there were just so many. I think there were like 10 or 12 Perfect Darks. Why? I have no idea. Here's Diddy Kong, Donkey Kong. Like, I think that game complete is like 60, 70 bucks at least. Same thing for Donkey Kong. I think that's more like 100. Perfect Dark, there's one of the Perfect Darks. Killer Instinct Gold, that's a tough one to get. And then just all of these boxes, I don't even know what to say. Like, I genuinely don't know what to say because this is like the things dreams are made of. Like, to get all of these boxes. A couple things to note down here. The first is this: if you guys ever want to like protect your boxes, further, you can get these little plastic protectors. I think I get them for like $1 each on eBay, and you just take off the film and then it ends up looking like that. So there's Pokemon Snap. I don't know if this is the best Pokemon Snap that was in here, but I just grabbed one. $2.95. Some of the more notable ones, F-Zero X. This is one that I've always wanted for the collection and just never wanted to shell out the $100+ for it. So glad to get that one, and like the colors are super nice and vibrant. Box is in good shape. GoldenEye, I've been looking out for a long time. I think there's 2 or 3 in the game room currently, and I don't know if this is the best one either, but cool to get GoldenEye. This one is pretty valuable, guys. No mercy. I think this one goes for over 100. And then 2 that you might not think have value. PGA European Tour. This one is super hard to get. Have no idea. I'll put up on the screen an example sold listing. And then the same thing with In the Zone 2000. I talked about this in the last episode. Complete. It's just crazy. Like, you don't see them. I think on eBay there's one for 400 and one for 700 complete. I don't know. This is one of the last In the Zones I guess they released, but and then, you know, hidden all in here are just amazing games. Spider-Man, Pod Racer, Shadowgate 64. Look at that. One more time. One more backup of all of the beautiful N64 goodness. So happy, y'all. What is there to even say at this point, guys? We're not even all the way through all of these games that were in these storage units, and we have so much. Like, I don't even know where to put this stuff. I'm a little worried about space. I had 23 box N64 games before the storage unit. Now I have 180. And all these Genesis games are amazing too. PS1 stuff. So many things, man. I think my favorite thing so far that I've got, I kind of want to lump all the N64 boxes together, which I know I probably shouldn't, but it's the N64 boxes, specifically probably F-Zero. That's probably my favorite one because I love that game, and I love the colors. I love the Donkey Kong 64. There's a ton. Even some of these ones that you don't know, or most people don't know, that there's a ton of value, like the PGA European Golf, that In the Zone. There's a lot. So I would say probably F-Zero. You guys tell me down below what has been your favorite thing that we have got so far out of the storage unit. At this point, I don't think I'm going to do part 4 quite yet because, again, I'm going to Retropalooza this next week, and I don't have time to go out to Chuck's and dig through more, but at some point, we will have an episode 4, but this is really the bulk of the stuff that I wanted to show you guys, and that I was excited about, was kind of completing a bunch of these games. But again, tell me down below what has been your favorite thing that we have got out of the storage unit. Guys, as always, thank you for hanging out. If you guys have been enjoying this whole series so far, because at this point, it's been a series, the storage unit find of a lifetime, hit that like button. It helps out tremendously. Subscribe if you have not already. Until next time, peace.